Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 12. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Stotara Sata Sri Srimadesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasali Gora Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ki Jai Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Jamuna Maya Ki Jai Ganga Maya Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai All glory to the assembled devotees All glory to the assembled devotees All glory to the assembled devotees Bhagavad Gita Chapter 7 Verse 12 Ye chaiva sadvika bhava rajasastamasaschaye matteveti tam viddi natvaham teshu te mai Ye chaiva sadvika bhava rajasastamasaschaye matteveti tam viddi natvaham teshu te mai Ye chaiva sadvika bhava rajasastamasaschaye mattaiveti tam viddi natvaham teshute mai Ye chaiva sadvika bhava rajasastamasaschaye mattaiveti tam viddi natvaham teshute mai Ye all those Cha and Eva certainly Satvikaha in goodness Bhavaha state of being Rajasaha, mode of passion, Tamasaha, mode of ignorance, Cha also, Ye although, Mattaha from me, Eva certainly, Iti thus, Tan those, Vidhi try to know, Na not, Tu but, Aham I, Teshu of those, in those, Te they, Mai unto me. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. All states of being, be they in goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am, in one sense, everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of this material nature. Purport. All material activities in the world are being conducted under the three modes of material nature. Although these material modes of nature are emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna, he is not subject to them. For instance, under the state laws, one may be punished, but the king, the lawmaker, is not subject to that law. Similarly, all the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna, but Lord Krishna is not subject to material nature. Therefore, he is nirguna, which means that these gunas or modes, although issuing from him, do not affect him. That is one of the special characteristics of Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ye chaiva sadvika bhava rajasas tamasascha ye mattariveti tan viddi na tuaham teshute mai. Hare Krishna. Greetings from Vrindavan. Lord Krishna continues in this verse to explain the nature of the material world, the nature of the spiritual world, and his role, how he operates. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions that the king, he is the initiator of the law. He makes the law. But the king himself is above the law because he is the creator of the law. So Krishna is the creator of the energies that create and maintain the material universe. These energies are in goodness when the activity of the independent living entities in the world, when those activities are meant for the benefit of themselves, the benefits of others, when they are connected and dovetails with the design of the material world, these activities are in goodness. When the living entity's activities are simply meant to profit himself, like a businessman, when he acts only for what he wants, when he only is concerned about himself and not really what is the purpose of the creation or what is the purpose of the creator, when he acts for his own interest, those activities are in a mode of passion. And when he doesn't even know how to benefit himself, when he is unable to understand even his own spiritual nature, and he acts in all kinds of ways which are not in any way connected with the structure of the universe as it is meant to be, participated with, those activities are in the mode of ignorance. So the mode of goodness is called the Sattva Guna. Sattva Guna is exemplified by the Brahmanas. And the Brahmanas have several qualities: Shamo, Dhamma, Tapa, Socham, Shantir, Arjavam, Evacha, Jnana, Vijnana, Astikyam, Brahma, Karma, Swabhavajam. The Brahmana is Swabhav. What determines who is a Brahmana or not is the Swabhav, is the nature. You cannot act the part of a Brahmana. You have to be that part. And that part is Shama. You have to be peaceful. If you're naturally peaceful, that is one quality, the first quality of the Brahma. Dhamma, to control the senses. In other words, controlling the senses, because the Brahmana understands that he is a spirit soul, and therefore he exercises control over the material body in which he inhabits. It is called Dhamma. And Tapa, austerity, that even though the senses, they may require so much enjoyment, he allows them enjoyment only as far as it is conducive to his understanding of the spiritual path. And Socham is clean, Arjavam, simple, Jnana Vijnana, he has knowledge and he has wisdom, and Astikyan, he is religious by nature. He is by nature interested in spiritual knowledge. What drives a Brahmana, what motivates a Brahmana is knowledge. The next group in the pyramid of the living entities in the material world are called the Kshatriyas, or the ruling class, people who like to control others, who have an ability to control others. And their qualities are Teja, Tritir, Daksham, Yuddha Chapya Palayanam, Danam Ishvara Bhavascha, Shatram, Karma Swabhavaja. Swabhava, the nature of the Kshatriya, is Teja, is strength, power. Driti, determination. Daksham, expertise. Yuddha Chapya Palayanam, who does not back down from a fight, who does not turn his back in war, who is not a coward. Danam is generous. Ishvara, leader. These are the qualities in the mode of passion. And the third group in the pyramid, which is even larger, is the group of the Vaishyas, or people who, so what motivates a Kshatriya, to go back one step, is power. Brahmana is motivated by knowledge, Kshatriya is motivated by power. Vaishyas, or mercantile men, tradesmen, they are motivated by money, by wealth. And what are the qualities of a Vaishya? The qualities are Krishi, agriculture, Goraksha, Vanijam. Krishi, cow protection, and banking. These are the businesses of the Vaishyas. They, under the direction, under the supervision, or under the permission of the ruling class, the kings, they cultivate the land and provide food. Especially, they cultivate for grains and they maintain the cows. Now there is a controversy because here in the West, people don't believe, don't understand cow protection. Even in a devotee community, cow protection is sometimes exhibited as like a petting zoo, that you go to the Goshala or the cow shed and you pet the cow and feed the cow and people are so happy. But that's not cow protection. Cow protection is that if you understand what is the purpose of life, if by the Brahminical direction society understand that we are spirit soul, and then the purpose of life is to end this repeated cycle of birth and death and understand our eternal relationship with our Creator, with God, with Krishna, then when you understand that is the purpose of life, there is no need of additional expansions in technology, science, or any of these disciplines. You simply need a simple life, and a simple life is to depend on nature, and to depend on nature you need cow protection, because the cows, they will give you milk, they will by their byproducts the land will be regenerated, and if you, with the bulls you can plow the fields, so if you have milk, from milk you make ghee, and from the fields you grow grains, then your problems of maintenance are solved. You can live simply, a small cottage. It doesn't have to be primitive, it doesn't have to be ugly. In fact, if you travel around India, especially in Rajasthan, you see some villages that are so beautiful, so artful. How simple country people can build their homes practically by hand, and it's so beautiful, instead of these ugly cement structures, pigeonholes in which we live. And as soon as there is an earthquake, you get crushed underneath your own building. Thank you very much. At least in the village, there is an earthquake, the mud houses are washed away, earthquake finished, they build them again. Nobody gets crushed to death. Anyhow, so this is the Vaishyas, the mercantile community. So the Brahmanas are in the mode of goodness, Sattva Gun. The Kshatras are in the mode of passion, Rajagun. The Vaishyas or mercantile man are a mixture of passion and ignorance, and the working class, the Shudras, who are not interested in leadership, who have no leadership ability, who are simply happy to be taken care of, just like you have your dependents in a house, like children, they need to be taken care of. So this is the Shudra class. So the qualities of the Shudra is paricharyatmakam karma, or service to the upper classes. So in this way you have a pyramid with the Brahmanas on the top, very small point of the pyramid. Then as you come down larger, you have the Kshatriya class, or warrior class. Even larger, you have the mercantile class. Brahmins are motivated by knowledge, Kshatriyas are motivated by power, Vaishyas are motivated by money, wealth, and the Shudras are motivated by being taken care of. Simply given, there's no rules and regulations, there is no samskara for the Shudras, but there is samskaras or certain rituals which are to be carried out. If one is a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya, he has to carry out the samskar. Otherwise, in Kali Yuga, everybody is born a Shudra. Jammana jayate Shudra. Everyone is born a Shudra, or low class. Then samskarat bhavet dvija. By the samskara or the rituals, he becomes twice born. Dvija means that you understand you're a spirit soul. So you take a material birth of the body, but then by spiritual instructions, you awaken your soul. That is a second birth. This is called a dvija, that is a Brahmana, twice born. Veda pathat bhavet vipra. And this Brahmana, when he Veda pathat, when he studies the Veda, he becomes a vipra, or a knowledgeable person. And the quality, the ultimate quality of the Brahmana or the spiritual leader, Brahma janatiti Brahmanaha. The Brahmanaha, the Brahmana, knows what is Brahman, what is spirit. We require such leadership, and it is not available today. But therefore Krishna says, and this leadership is actually very natural. The way we live now is unnatural. It is against what is the purpose of life. We are living like two-legged animals. This is our international society, the so-called rule-based international society. They have no idea what is the purpose of life, why we are born, why we are struggling, why there is divisions in quality. It's not that there is only Brahmanas in India, there is Brahmanas anywhere in the world. Krishna says, Chatur Varnya Maya Srishtam. I created these four groups. How? Guna, Karma, Vibhagasha. The Vibhagasha, or the division between the groups, is determined by quality, Guna, and by work, Karma, not by birth. By birth, everybody is born a Shudra. If he performs samskar, then he can become a Dvija. If he studies the Vedas, he can become a Vipra, or knowledgeable, he can teach others. And the purpose of life is to understand Brahman. Not everybody has to understand it, just the top 1%. If the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% of human society understand what is the purpose of life, all the problems of material world will be solved. Instead, we have the upper 1 to 5% who are simply interested in exploiting the other 95%. Nice society we live in. Prabhupada really puts his boot in this society. Actually, people don't read Prabhupada's books. His own disciples, they don't read his books. They don't understand. But if you read Prabhupada's books, he is the most critical author of our present-day hedonistic, materialistic society. where intellectuals don't know what is the purpose of life, where the warrior class simply exploit others to take the resources, where the mercantile men simply cheat others to rob them of their wealth, and where the Shudra class, which is actually 90% of the population, are simply interested in enjoying the senses, culminating in sex life. So, the sex life is the engine that drives the material world. And sometimes people, they criticize Krishna that your God, Krishna, especially the Christians, they love to criticize Krishna. Christians, they think Krishna is immoral. Why? Because he danced with young girls. Even in India, people are ashamed of Krishna. They read Bhagavad Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam, they have these Bhagavad Saptaha, the 7-day reading of the Bhagavatam. Guess what they read? They don't read the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th canto. No. They read the 10th canto. Not even the beginning of the 10th canto. They read about the Ras Leela. But Prabhupada pointed out in his commentary on the 10th canto that Krishna, when he danced with the gopis, he was 8 years old. Apta Kama, he was free from lust. He was dancing with young girls. It was done on the spiritual platform. And even if Krishna wants to dance with his girlfriends, he is Ishwaranam, he is the supreme controller. He produced those girlfriends. Those living entities in the gopis' bodies, those young girls who dance with Krishna, are produced by Krishna's internal energy. Just like I and you, we are produced by Krishna's internal energy. Our business is to connect with Krishna in a loving mood. Not that we go to Krishna for what we can get from him. That is not love, that is lust. That is like iron. We go to Krishna for what we can do for Krishna. That is love. That is like gold. Although iron and gold are both metal, there is a huge difference between the two. I don't wear iron rings, I wear gold rings. Why? Because gold is purer than iron. It is valuable. So in the same way, love of Krishna is like gold because it is a reality, it has a value. Going to the temple and worshipping Krishna for material benefits, it's better than nothing. Agreed, fine. You need something, you pray to Krishna, but don't make it into a business. First of all, Krishna will not give you anything that will cause you to come back again and again for the same thing. He will not do it. He's not stupid. He knows, he's in our heart, he knows our business. He knows that this fool comes to me, he wants some money, 2 months later they come back for more money, and more, and more. And what is the result of me giving him money? He will remain in the material world. He will use me as an ATM. Well, Krishna is not a bank automat. It's not an ATM where you can put your credit card. Krishna is our supreme friend and our supreme lover. And the highest perfection was demonstrated by his girlfriends, the gopis, who gave up all social convention and simply ran to dance with Krishna. Not because they wanted anything from Krishna, but because they wanted to be with Krishna. They wanted to share Krishna's space. They didn't want to use Krishna. They wanted to be with him, not separate from him. Just like two lovers. They are happy when they meet. They hanker for each other's company. In Italy, we have an expression, pane, amore e fantasia. Bread, love, and fanciness, fancifulness. That's it. A lover doesn't need anything. Just a little bread and some fancy idea, just to be together. That is the payoff of love. Even in England, even Shakespeare, he has a very nice couplet. Love goes to love as children from their books, but love from love towards school with heavy looks. That's a beautiful expression. Shakespeare understood many of the basic points. Many of our philosophers have understood. We used to have a society which was based on spiritual life, which at least tried to answer the questions of why we are suffering, why we are in the material world. But thanks to technology and so-called science, we have become a consumer society which doesn't even inquire, why am I here? They think that when I die, everything is finished. Who guarantees that? Who says that when you die, everything is finished? If you study any of the literature, beginning with the Bible or the Quran, or what to speak of the Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, the 4 Vedas, Upanishad, Puranas, they beg to differ in a very fundamental way, that the purpose of life is to end the cycle of birth and death. Krishna very clearly says, Jamma Mritu Jara Vyadhi Dukha Dosha Anudarshanat. Anudarshanat. Look very carefully. Anu means very, very minutely. Anu means to follow, and Darshana means to see. Not just to see, but to be enlightened by seeing. And what do you need to see? Jamma, birth, Mrityu, death, Vaidhi, old age, disease, and Jara, old age. These 4 things are equal to everyone. You cannot escape them. So, Krishna, as mentioned in this verse, he has created this world, but he is not bound by it. He is nirguna. These 3 gunas of goodness, passion, and ignorance are the forces which are generated by Krishna, which create and maintain the material world. But Krishna is not under them. He says very clearly in the 4th chapter, Ajo Pisan, although I am unborn, Krishna is Ajo. He's not, we are born. Krishna is not born. And his Avyayatma is unchangeable. We change. Every day we change. Every life we change. But Krishna is Avyayatma. He doesn't change. So Ajo Pisan, Avyayatma, Ishvara Bhutaro Pisan. And even though I am the controller of everything, Prakritim Swamadishtaya Sambhavami Atmanaya. Still, I come under my spiritual energy, I come into this material world again and again, and I take birth in this material world, but that birth that I take in the material world is not like my birth and your birth. Krishna's birth in the material world is Atma Mayaya, is by his internal potency. He comes to teach us the purpose of spiritual life. Paritranaya sadhuna. He comes to protect his devotees. Vinashaya duskritam. He comes to annihilate the demons who created disturbance, who envelop the world in ignorance, who keep us in ignorance. And therefore, dharma samstapanarthaya. Krishna comes to establish what is the purpose of life, what is dharma. And the purpose of life is to make an end of the cycle of birth and death. There is no simple way of putting it. It's the same message again and again and again. You're going to get old, you're going to die. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how many likes you garner on Facebook. It doesn't matter how many followers you have. You're going to get old, you're going to die. And when you die, not one of your friends are going to be able to help you. Not one of your followers are going to be able to lift a finger to help you, except Krishna. And this is the message the Srila Prabhupada gave us. Simple, straightforward. Thank you very much. Getting close to 11 o'clock here, and like to get some rest, get up from Mangalarati. We have quite a few comments from Vishnu Vamsa, all glories to the assembled devotees. Mendi Priya from England, Hare Krishna, Ekanath Dasi, Hare Krishna, and Vikramaditya Bijoya from Jaipur, Jai Prabhu, nice to see you, nice to hear from you. Ramajit Patel and Guru Padma from Belgium, a friend, the artist, thank you very much Prabhu, all glories to you also. Torin Ayurveda, Albert DeVos, love is Albert DeVos, Vishnu Vamsa says, welcome to Kali Yuga. Love is not sex life at all. Love means surrender to Krishna. You got it. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week on Wednesday. Please feel free to comment, and thank you for your participation. And greetings from Vrindavan, blessings from Vrindavan. I wish you were all here. Hare Krishna.